Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Franchise Interviews. For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 6 years now, we've been asking the Frantrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Michael Mohammed, the CEO of Chronic Tacos. And Chronic Tacos is a fast casual concept that offers the taste of Mexican cuisine in a fun and laid-back atmosphere. I'm going to talk to Michael about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing, helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 6 years now, we've been asking the Frantrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Michael Mohammed, the CEO of Chronic Tacos. And Chronic Tacos is a fast casual concept that offers the taste of Mexican cuisine in a fun, laid-back atmosphere. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. I'm doing great.
Oh, that's fantastic, Michael. It's great to finally have you guys on the show. We always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning, Michael?
I'm calling from San Clemente, California.
Oh, great. How's the weather out there today, Michael?
Well, it's nice. It's a little hazy this morning, but it'll burn off.
Okay, good. That's good. It's always fun to ask, about the history of a company. We've been doing the show 6 years now, Michael, and there's always some, interesting stories. I mean, how did you guys get your start? How did Chronic Tacos begin?
Well, actually, it was founded in 2002 by a couple of buddies, Randy Wyner and Dan Biello. Mm-hmm. They were in Newport Beach, California, and they had the idea that they wanted to create something in that area that was more of an authentic Mexican flavor. They'd grown up with lots of taquerias, but where they were, there was nothing where they could get that real flavor. So the two found a location in Newport Beach, California, bought some recipes from an old family friend, and they opened up their first location July 4th, 2002.
Wow. It's great, and there is that need too, Michael, isn't there? I know, a lot of people we talk to out here in this part of Pennsylvania, it's we always wish that we can get, good, authentic Mexican food. There is a very big difference, isn't there, between, real Mexican food and kind of like some of the maybe the chains out there without saying any names, So I think that's fantastic. How do you typically describe Chronic Tacos franchise to someone? I was recently at a franchise show with my wife in New York, and I noticed that the question that typically comes up when someone comes up to a booth is they'll say, "So what do you guys do?" How do you typically respond to the question?
For us, first and foremost, like you said, it is the food. We use these third-generation family recipes that we acquired in the very beginning, and we really haven't changed those recipes much. And then from there, it's all about the experience. So, when the guys founded the location, it was all about kind of they wanted it to be a fun place they would hang out at as well. So all our locations, we try and create an experience where, you can watch TV. There's going to be, sports on TV. There's going to be music playing in the background, and we really embrace kind of the local artistic culture. So you'll see, airbrush murals, a lot of authentic Day of the Dead art in our decor. So, for us, it's an experience, and then it's the customer service. So it's we always want that. All the guys that we have working for us, we always look for guys with the personality and really welcoming. We really want a welcoming experience.
Yeah, that's so important, too. I hope my business students are listening to the show this morning, because we were talking about that on Sunday evening, about providing an experience. And that's what I kind of got, as when I was, studying your franchise, as I said, the food sounds great, but it sounds like you're also providing that experience as well, for your customers, which I just think is so important. We're speaking with Michael Mohammed, the CEO of Chronic Tacos, and, one of the questions we recently started asking on the show, Michael, is how has technology played a role with Chronic Tacos?
Technology, there's a lot of technological advances in operations, whether it's at the store level or at the franchisor level, whether it's communications or, your POS systems. But we see probably some of the biggest changes for us is in marketing. So, the world of marketing, it changed so much, and it changes so quickly with social media and mobile apps. And so for us, we really have to stay on top of it and build and in order to build and maintain a loyal customer base, we need to always remain on the cutting edge of the marketing side.
Yeah, the technology is fascinating, isn't it, Michael? And it's hard to keep up with, too, isn't it? I mean, it seems like there's always something new happening, in your particular industry or category when it comes to technology. I imagine it's pretty hard to keep up with all the technological advances, isn't it?
Well, there really is. I mean, in social media, there's always something new come out, whether, where are you getting the best bang for your dollar? through the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then, you've got Pinterest and so many other ones coming out. And then from the actual equipment side, you've got so many different technologies with, the use of the smartphones and, tablets now.
Yeah, it's true.
And they're being used in so many different phases of your business, from your POS to your inventory to, again, back to marketing. So
yeah, it's true.
It really is. There is a lot to stay on top of. And, when you have, when you're a chain and you have a number of restaurants, then you've got the challenge is making sure that everybody, so you've got to make, to get everybody to change over, you've got to make sure you're making the right decision from day one.
That's true. That's true. One of the pieces of advice we've been giving to our listeners over the last 6 years now, Michael, is to look towards the industry, and I think this is a fantastic industry. It's probably a bigger industry, I guess, than people know, and it seems like there's some growth going on in your particular category as well. Are there any hard numbers as far as where the industry's at right now?
The fast, we're in the fast casual industry, which is, kind of is a segment of the quick service industry.
Right.
So there's a lot of, studies of fast casual within quick service, and it really has been, a very fast growing industry within, I guess, an industry. I think it's estimated to be about a $22 billion industry.
Wow.
But there's different views on what is the actual definition of fast casual.
Right.
But we continue to see, double-digit sales growth, and for us, being in the Mexican food side of it, it's definitely probably the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing anyway, segments of the fast casual. I think Mexican food is about 20% of those sales.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like there's still a need. I guess when Randy Wyner and Dan Biello had that first conversation, Michael, about I guess kind of like fulfilling a need, or they noticed that there was a need, for chronic tacos. It still seems like there's a lot of open territory in the United States to me, for once again, as you said, good, authentic Mexican food. It seems that way anyway. Where are you guys right now? So I know you're in California, but how many other locations do you have open now?
So we have over 30 locations. We are
okay.
mostly in California.
Right.
We just recently opened a location at the Palms Casino in Las Vegas.
Wow.
So that's been an exciting venture for us, getting
Great.
outside of California in the States. We also actually have 5 locations in Canada. So we've in the region of Vancouver, BC, in Canada. So we've grown, and we continue to grow in Canada. We see a great opportunity there, and we do see a lot of opportunities outside of California.
Right.
We're currently looking in Washington, Oregon, Texas, Nevada. Right now we're focused mostly on the Western U.S., but we want to continue to grow out east from here.
That's great. What do you look for in a location? What does Chronic Tacos look for in a location, Michael? Is there an ideal location that you guys look for, and how much space is I guess you could say, required to open one up?
Well, it's interesting with our concept. In California, a lot of places, we can get away with a smaller location because of the weather. You end up patio space.
Yeah.
But what we've learned from going to Canada is it's a different ballgame when you don't have the sun out all the time. So, our ideal location is going to be anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
Sometimes we actually will put a small bar. Some of our locations will have a small bar in our 2,000 square foot location. But we'll have a full service bar that kind of adds to that experience. Well, most of our locations will serve beer. A lot of people like a beer with a taco, and we really feel that kind of negates that veto vote when people are going out as a family. But we also like to have a full bar where permitted, where we can, have the, continue, again, it's for the experience, be able to watch sports, be able to hang out with your friends, and still be able to get a really good meal at a decent price.
That's fantastic. Well, I know because you're the CEO, you've been a lot. You've been in many Chronic Tacos. Do you have a favorite dish, or is there anything that stands out? Like when you go into one, what do you like to have?
I love our tacos. So tacos is probably favorite.
Yeah.
I really like our fish and shrimp. So we do.
Oh wow.
We do it two ways. We do a grilled fish or shrimp, or we do a beer battered fish or shrimp, and you can't go wrong either way. But those are usually my go-to, and I'll usually get some black beans and Spanish rice on the side with it, and some chips and guacamole, depending on how hungry I am. But those are usually my go-tos, and I'm usually trying everything from our carne asada to our chicken. So, but I enjoy the tacos.
See, that was a bad question for me, Michael, because now I'm going to be craving that all day today.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Has there been anything interesting for you that stands out? I mean, since you've become CEO of Chronic Tacos, I mean, I'm sure you've had so many different experiences, but is there like one or two things that stand out for you that you found interesting?
For us, for me, I've got involved in Chronic Tacos just over a year ago. So me and my partners, which are my brothers, actually bought the company. We're from Vancouver. We're actually originally from Vancouver, and we heard about the concept when it came up to Vancouver and got interested in it, helped actually finance the guy who brought it up to Vancouver.
Right.
And from there, I met Randy and got to know Randy, and it took it took a couple of years before we knew we wanted to do something together, but we always said, we want to be involved at the corporate level. So we actually ended up buying a controlling percentage of the company just over a year ago. Mm-hmm. So it's been an interesting transition for me because I've moved down from Vancouver to California to take the role of CEO. And so from there, there's really not been a dull moment. I mean, it's the restaurant industry. There's never a dull moment in that. But we spent a lot of time, I think, in the last few months anyway, really defining our brand and the Chronic Tacos experience. And so going through that process has been interesting, where we've really pinpointed, the concept as from a design point of view of when we open restaurants, the decor, and really coming up with some standardizations for that. So while keeping that, that Chronic Tacos experience that's been pretty interesting for me.
That's fantastic. What types of characteristics does Chronic Tacos look for in their franchisees, Michael?
First and foremost, they've got to have the personality that matches their brand, and share. There's got to be share some characteristics that we have as a brand. Because we're all about we're really about the experience and the customer experience. Right. But, we also are looking for a strong business or operational experience as well. Restaurant experience is a plus, but it's not required. We don't have a high percentage of our guys that are restaurant experience guys. It's usually more people that have some experience operating or just some business experience.
Right.
And just being a people person, ready to roll up your sleeves and get into the business. So, those strong organizational skills, the willingness to learn. And we've got, our team and our training guys have a lot to teach. So it's as long as we've got somebody who's willing to learn and willing to work hard, and they have the right personality, it's a good match for us.
You mentioned the training, Michael. What's that like? I mean, once you decide that, you like them and they like you and everybody wants to go forward, do they typically come out to headquarters? How does that work?
Yeah, usually once we've, and there's a process going back and forth, and once we've decided that this is the right fit and, we sign on, we're pretty hands-on with them in finding a location, and then once we've found the location and we're ready to go, our training program is usually about 8 weeks, but, we don't limit it. For us, it's all about, our recipes, because of the nature of our recipes being authentic, and there's we have all the guides and everything, but it's just we want to make sure that they're trained properly and that they're strictly followed. So we do, we do some classroom training, we do in-store training. So we would have them come to one of our corporate locations and do some training, back of the house, front of the house, really see how it all works. Right. And then when their restaurant's ready, we'll probably come in a week before opening, help them organize the restaurant and set it up. And then, we'll spend a good 4 weeks with our trainers in the restaurant, training their team, training their manager, making sure that they're ready to go on their own. And, that's really the initial training, but it never really stops for us. We're always in the restaurants. Right. We're always coaching. We're always, like I said, that right guy who's got the willingness to learn, we're there 100% to support them. So
that's great. That's important. For our listeners who don't really have, let's say, experience in this kind of business, but it sounds interesting to them, and they really like what they hear. Could you describe a typical day? It's not always the ideal question, but, when you're a Chronic Tacos franchisee, maybe from if you could paint the picture of, from when you go into, kind of some of the things that go on during the day. What's that like, Michael?
Well, definitely, and if you talk to any of our franchisees, there's never a typical day, but, I guess the best part about being a franchisee is every day is different. So One day you could be visiting a local business, introducing yourself and the brand. The next day you might be working the line with the team members. One day you might be doing some training, some coaching. So there's so many different things that make up a typical day for one of our franchisees. But being a franchisee kind of gives you the ability to choose what you want, what you do, and at the same time, we're able to provide you with the support and structure to help you be successful. So, we've got franchisees that are in the store, working shifts, and we've got guys who are some days they're working a shift, but some days they're out, building the brand, getting catering jobs, meeting with the community. Working on a fundraiser. There's so many different things that they can do, but they've got their hands nearly in everything from their marketing to maintenance, banking, accounting. It's really how you staff that restaurant determines the level of involvement you have. But like I said, we see all sorts of variance between our restaurants. So there's no typical day, but they're always interesting.
That's great. You sound like an entrepreneur in speaking with you, Michael. And the majority of our listeners, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. They have it in their mind that, they're looking into franchising, they're considering franchising. What advice would you give to them in their pursuit to buy a franchise?
I think the most important thing, I think anybody would tell you that for a franchisee is, when you're considering the franchise system, you just want to make sure that system is aligned with your expectations. So whatever your expectations are, for us, like I said, we want to be, we like to call it just being brutally honest when a franchisee comes. So when we do a store tour, we don't hold back. We show them what it's like in the back of the kitchen. We show them the aspect of it. So I think that, all franchisees, you gotta do your homework and make sure that that is aligned with it. They need to be comfortable. I think as an entrepreneur, you got to be comfortable in that hands-on environment because, as an entrepreneur, you're going to get your hands dirty. So you're going to get in there and you're tweaking, you're reworking it, and that's what, as an entrepreneur, that's what makes it fun.
Sure.
So those types of things are very important. And if you're somebody who's looking, say, at multi-unit, then they got to make sure that they're surrounded by the right people. So you've got to have that. Make sure you've got the right team in place to operate this business. It doesn't always work out. that your buddy is the best partner for you, or
right.
you just make sure, you got to make sure that you're aligned with the right people. And, not every system is the right fit for every personality. So again, just making sure that you know that system and that system fits the lifestyle you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. So as the CEO, I have the opportunity, you being the CEO, have the opportunity to ask you, what are the plans for Chronic Taco's future? Where do you see the company, 3 to 5 years down the road, Michael?
3 to 5 years, we would like to be over 100 stores. We've had great success in Southern California, and we kind of see similar success in new markets. As we open in one market, we see that the interest growing in that market. We just think people are looking for a better experience from a customer's perspective, better experience for the money they spend. And, we want to be able to share that with everybody. And we feel the same way for the franchise, a franchisee. We're a lifestyle brand. We feel we're very much a lifestyle brand, and we're looking, for franchisees that, are looking for that similar lifestyle and wanting to share that experience with everybody. So, we're going to continue to expand in the Western United States. We're going to continue to expand in Canada. And we are always exploring the Eastern U.S. and also international markets, but more on a multi-unit development.
Right. Well, that's good to hear, because I'm in Eastern Pennsylvania, so I'm looking forward to you guys coming to this part of the country. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a franchisee, Michael? Any websites they should go to? Or?
Our website, which is actually being revamped, but our website is that you can still fill out an application online at www.eatchronictacos.com.
Okay.
And you can always reach us on Facebook or Twitter.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you again, Michael, for coming on the show. We've been really excited to have you come on the show for a while now. And I'd already like to invite you back next year as you guys continue to grow. I think you have a great franchise opportunity, so we'll be watching out for you.
Absolutely. We'd love to do it.
Thanks so much, Michael. We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchise Interviews. For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. We've been hosting franchise interviews now over 5 years and almost 300 shows, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on the show. Today we're actually going to go back to the most very basic elements of franchising. In fact, we're going to go back 5 years ago to our very first show we did with PB Loco, where Don and I get into the defining the word franchise. We use references like the great Dave Thomas. So I think you'll enjoy this edition.
The criteria they filled out, what they'd be comfortable in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think probably another good place to start, Don, is to, define the word franchise, because a lot of times when I ask my business students for the definition of a franchise, their response is typically the same. They'll say to me, McDonald's or Subway or Quiznos. And, yesterday before the show, I looked up the word franchise in the Oxford Dictionary, and it defines a franchise as follows. It says, an authorization granted by a company to sell its goods or services in a particular way. And, that's a good definition, but it doesn't really help an aspiring entrepreneur understand what franchising really is. And I know you had a good definition we were speaking about from the book Franchising for Dummies, which I think is written by the great Dave Thomas, who's gone on to bigger and better things.
Right.
But I don't know if you have that.
CEO of Wendy's. Yeah, I do have that. It's a book written by him and Michael Seid of Michael H. Seid and Associates. I thought it was a really great definition. It's a little lengthy, but I think it really sums it up. The definition of what is a franchise.
Right.
And it basically says franchising is a system for expanding a business and distributing goods and services, and an opportunity to operate a business under a recognized brand name.
Good.
For example, Wendy's doesn't franchise hamburgers.
Right.
And Midas, the muffler franchise, they don't franchise car mufflers.
Right.
They franchise business systems that deliver hamburgers and mufflers to customers with consistency of the products and services and also the customer experience. It says a franchise occurs when a business, which is called the franchisor, the franchise corporate office is called the franchisor.
Okay.
They license its trade name, which is the brand, such as Wendy's or Midas, and its operating methods, which is a system or their system of doing business, to a person or group. The person investing in the franchise is called the franchisee.
Okay.
So I think that's important to bring out some of these terms because
absolutely,
the franchisee is going to be the owner of the franchise. The franchisor is the Wendy's or the Midas.
Right.
The franchisee, by buying into the franchise system, they agree to operate according to the terms of the contract. That's called the franchise agreement.
Okay.
The franchisor provides the franchisee with support and in some cases exercises some control over the way the franchisee operates under the brand.
Okay.
So that's what we mean before about the pros and cons. You're in business for yourself. You have a much higher chance of success, but you're under the...
But you're not by yourself, as you say.
Right.
Franchising is, being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. One of the words that you said in that definition, Don, which, by the way, I think is probably the best definition I've seen, since being involved in franchising. The most important word is system. And what do we mean by system is kind of like a method of doing things so you get the same result every single time. And the analogy that I typically give, Don, is that, the franchisor is the teacher and the franchisee is the student. And it's very important that the student, who is the franchisee, trust as well as listen to the teacher, or who in this case is the franchisor. And they also must be willing to totally follow the system and not try to reinvent the wheel. Otherwise,
it's already a proven system and
absolutely.
concept. That's why they're buying into it and paying a franchise fee, paying royalties. It's already a successful, proven system. That's why they're investing in a franchise, much lower failure rate. But you're right. The keyword system is very important here because someone doesn't have to go into and set up all this marketing and all these different things involved with starting up a business on their own. It's already been done. It's already done for you. You just have to follow the system, and if you do that, you're going to be successful in most cases.
Absolutely, and I think that's what can make it difficult for some entrepreneurs, Don, is because, some people are so entrepreneurial that they don't have the ability to follow a system. It's kind of like the example I give is, you buy a McDonald's franchise and you say, you know what, I think that this cheeseburger is going to taste better with 4 pickles and a little more mustard, and you just start trying to reinvent all these different things. It's not necessary with franchising. You have to be willing to totally follow that system. Otherwise, it's not for you, and that's why franchising isn't for everyone. And that's, franchisors certainly don't want somebody coming into their system and trying to reinvent things. You don't have to do that.
Right. It's a good point. I speak to franchisors all the time who necessarily don't want to recruit or find an investor who's had a background in their industry to invest in them, because
absolutely
they might want to do things their way if things start off a little slow. They want people coming in fresh who can be trained, learn their system, and do things exactly what's been successful with their other franchise owners. So
I agree. I agree. Another example I give Don is I ask, I call it the entrepreneurial scale, where I would ask somebody, I'd say, how entrepreneurial are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being low and 10 being the highest. And if somebody said to me that they're a 9 or a 10, I think I would push that person away from franchising, because again, these are typically people who are just so entrepreneurial that, their mind is always going and they just want to reinvent things over and over. And, so those people should not go into franchising, So
right.
It's very interesting points,
Yeah, and just one last part to finish up the definition of what is a franchise. I mentioned it before, but for people not really familiar with the franchise concept, it says for all this service the franchisor will give, it says in exchange the franchisee usually pays the franchisor an initial fee called a franchise fee,
right,
and then a continuing ongoing fee. I mentioned a word before, that's called a royalty. Usually could range in the 2 to 5% range. It includes advertising and everything, but the franchisee will pay a royalty. And that's basically for the use of the trade name and all the operating methods and system that we're talking about. So I think that's a great definition of the word franchise. It really just sums it all up in just a few paragraphs.
Absolutely.
And as the weeks go on, we're going to be using these words a lot.
Absolutely.
Franchisee, franchisor. So that's why we think it's important to kind of just throw these terms out in the first show, just
I agree.
People understand it.
I agree. We have some of those definitions actually posted on our show page for World Talk Radio too, Don.
So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising from Franchise Interviews.